Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Yes, we're in the old setup, we're in the old house. I've not recorded a video from here in so long, it feels like, so it does look a bit different. We are changing it up a little bit. I decided to watch the game with Stevie, so that's the reason that I'm in the old surroundings rather than the usual setup. Today, we're here to discuss the win that we just seen there. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2, an ugly win for Celtic, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. And going into the international break, it's exactly what we needed. We needed 3 points today. It was vital. There was a lot of people who were bringing up the point. Ryan McGinley was one of them in the podcast that if we didn't win today, it could have been the kind of talk of any sort of title challenge being completely off the table. But it was vital we got it, and we got them. And if it was ugly, it was ugly. You know, we've seen Rangers, for example, winning games ugly all season, and that's kind of what separates us at the moment. We had to do that today. We pulled it out the drawer. It felt very sort of like Dyer period times with some of the wins we got at Pittodrie. But you know what? I'm just happy we walked away with the win, because there was a large portion of that game where I felt like we weren't going to get it. And if anything, I thought that Aberdeen were maybe going to push on and find the winner, and that they would walk away with the 3 points, which would have been nightmarish. It would have been disasters of epic proportions. But we stuck in. We kept ourselves in the game. And if it was with 2 shots on target or whatever, then that's efficient, isn't it? You know, you've got to ride your luck sometimes, and that's football. So I'm not going to complain about the fact that we got 3 points today. We will talk about the performance and aspects of it that were good enough or not good enough. But I must just say from the start, I'm very happy that we've managed to end that away day curse. That was also vital today. You know, we've not won an away game since February up till now. We hadn't won away since February 14th. And that was embarrassing, you know, for a club like Celtic, for the biggest team in the country and for the team with the biggest budget, to not win since February 14th away from home is an embarrassing stat. So it was vital for us today to put that to bed. And it comes at a perfect time now when we head into this international break. We have a bit of time to gather ourselves, get players back maybe to a fitter state, and evaluate what we need to fix for when we're back and playing Motherwell come 2 weeks now. Talking about ugly, let's talk Johnny Hayes then. That is awful. What an awful joke. I love Johnny Hayes as well. I'm sorry, Johnny. So let's do it as we always do it in these free things we learn videos. Let's start from the start and go from the first kick of the ball to the last kick of the ball. Let's go actually before the kick of the ball today. I thought it was a brilliant bit of work, or a brilliant decision, I should say, bit of work. Brilliant decision today from Ange Postecoglou to drop Tom Rogic. Either Rogic or Turnbull had to go today. And I must admit, despite us not even being great in our overall performance over the 90 minutes, I think going forward that has to be the case now. I think that today shows, and I don't know if everyone will agree with this. I've certainly seen a lot of people go down the same route on social media, but you can't have Rogic and Turnbull playing in the same team. And yes, we're in 2021, and it's embarrassing that we need to start Near Beaton in that role, and we need to start him. But I would much rather it than playing Rogic and Turnbull at the moment. I think that this changed up the middle of the park for us, and it made it a little bit better for us to handle the opposition today by bringing in Near Beaton and by changing that and dropping one of those players. Now, that's not to say that Rogic or Turnbull isn't a good enough player and should be. I'm not saying they should be completely disregarded from all future games, of course not. But what I am saying is, I think that there's only scope for one of those two guys in the team. I just think we've got to the point now where the both of them can't play. It looked good at first. It was very pleasing on the eye when we were scoring goals for fun. You know, it looked as though that was it. That was the two. We were just going to be like that all the time. But we're not. We've seen that we're not like that all the time. We're not scoring 6 goals anymore. So I think that we have to be realistic. And today, one of them had to be dropped. Ange completely made the right decision, I think, by bringing Near Beaton into the squad today, into the starting 11 today. Sorry, despite the fact it's still Beaton, I wish he wasn't still here, but here we are. He still is. 10 years on or whatever since he signed there, well, nearly 10 years. But yeah, I thought we started the game really well. We looked a more positive team in the first half. And once again, just as we spoke about on Thursday night, the difference that Kyogo Furuhashi makes to this Celtic team is huge. The kind of, not just the positivity and such he brings, but the threat of scoring goals now feels like it's back. And I'll come on to talk about Kyogo's performance in the second half, because I thought it was kind of night and day from first to second. But the energy and everything he brings is madness. It's what we need, and we are quite reliant on that. Yes, that can be looked at as a negative, that we are so reliant, and I've said that plenty of times. You know that if you've been watching the videos. But there's a reason he's the key man, and him being back is brilliant. He gets us up 1-0. A fantastic cross from David Turnbull, by the way. Really good cross, and he meets on the end of it. And he gets on the end of balls. This is the difference he brings to the team. He gets on the end of balls that I don't think that Ayeti would. I don't think that any other striker in the team would. I don't want to really comment on Giacomakis yet, because we've genuinely seen him for about 10 minutes. But even in the past, I feel like Kyogo just makes these movements that other players don't. And that's what gets us these kind of goals. The goals that he's been scoring for Celtic, he's missed a few sitters as well, of course, but the goals that he has been getting have been coming from situations where you don't necessarily see other strikers make the runs. I thought we were still the better team for the majority of the first half, but you could see towards the end of the half Aberdeen getting into it, and the signs were there going into half time that they were up for it, and they were going to try and get themselves back into it the second half, and that's where the game completely changed. The second half, I thought we were incredibly lucky to just concede one goal, and I thought we were incredibly lucky to win the game, in all honesty. As I said, we won very ugly. I thought Aberdeen, over the course of the 90 minutes, maybe had more of a kind of, I think they deserved it a bit more than us, to be quite honest with you. They played incredibly well in the second half. They made it tough, and throughout the first and second half we couldn't deal with a lot of their pressure. There was too many times we were far too cute, and we were far too I'm not even going to use the word patient, because it wasn't patient. It was just, we were just far too, the way we were passing the ball around the back, it was incredibly frustrating. As I said, I watched the game with my dad, and he was going off his head watching as Celtic continuously gave the ball back to Joe Hart, and then we'd lose possession somehow, whether we put it out for a throw-in, whether we had to forcefully hit it up the park when we were uncomfortable. We were just far too cute with it at the back today. Aberdeen were getting on our nerves. They were pressing, they were making life hard for the likes of Carter Vickers, Starfelt, Ralston, Montgomery. They were pressing us into areas we weren't comfortable with, and we were acting like nothing was happening. Now, that's all very well and good, acting like nothing's happening when you're dealing with it well, but there was too many points where I thought we weren't dealing with it well, and we were giving away possession. And that becomes an issue. We can't keep doing that. And the thing is, we did. We kept doing it constantly throughout the game, and that allowed Aberdeen to get more comfortable. And allowed them to come into the game a lot more, I thought. And in the second half, as I said, I think we were incredibly lucky. We only did concede the one. Scott Brown had a massive chance. I mean, imagine he's scored today. That would have been frustrating. But there are still questions over that back line. And we'll come on to the three things we've learned in a moment, and we'll talk about that. But the back line still is giving me heart palpitations as I watch them. But we rode our luck, and we get the goal. We get the second goal. We get the winner late in the game. Fantastic bit of work from Montgomery. Generally, I thought he had a very poor game, but in that moment, very well done from him. Ball in, and who's there? Jota, who's quickly becoming, just like Kyogo, a fan favourite and a key player in this Celtic setup. I think he's been very, very good on the left hand side, on the right hand side. He's been so good since coming into this side, and he's going to make a massive difference for us over the course of this season. But that goal exactly is what we need on more occasions. We needed that against Livingston, we needed that against Dundee United. We needed players to step up and give us a moment of magic, and Montgomery and Jota combined in that moment, and even Rogic, he had a brilliant part in that second goal. I'll give him that as well. He done very well leading up to the goal, and yeah, we managed to see it out towards the end, but they don't make it easy, Celtic, do they? Ultimately though, I'm very happy with the win. So three things we've learned then from today's game. I've already spoke for quite a while on this video, so I'll try and run through them quite quickly, and I'm also going to be editing off the laptop rather than the PC, so I can't put things up on the screen for you and such. Very much apologetic for that, but we will move. First thing, Kyogo needs to play through the middle. He has to play through the middle. Night and day, as I said, I thought personally, night and day. When he switched over to that left hand side, he was nowhere near as effective. I'm not necessarily want to pin the blame on him, because I think that he can't really do much when he's been asked to play in the left. He could have been better, of course, but I just think it's night and day. He needs to play through the middle. Now, I know we brought on a Yeti, and I know we took off a bad and we were really kind of forced into that situation, but I think it's down the middle or nothing for Kyogo at this point. He just didn't look as comfortable. His crossing wasn't exactly great. There was a couple of poor touches. And those runs are getting taken away from him, getting in behind the defenders. I think our best chance of scoring goals is when Kyogo's playing through the middle of the park. And I thought, this is why I didn't think we'd go on to win the game, because he wasn't playing there, because we suddenly didn't have that direct threat. If Kyogo wanted to go and do something, he'd have to cut inside, and Aberdeen were doing a good job at making that a sort of improbability. He was being really restricted on that left-hand side today, I thought. I think it's night and day. I really do. And I don't like seeing him out on the left as much as when he's through the middle. So that's the first thing. Second thing, we're in need of massive improvement and massive investment in the full-back areas. Now, I know Josip Juranovic is out injured at the moment, but we need more options. And we need a left-back. Ralston Montgomery, very poor today, I thought, over the course of the 90 minutes. Ralston, that wee honeymoon period we all had, where we thought, he's doing this and that next thing. I don't care how much he tries, he's simply not good enough. He's really, really poor. There was too many times today he was caught out in amateurish fashion, I thought, and he's simply not good enough. Someone the other day had a dig at me in the comments section. If you watch the podcast, you'll know this. Someone had a dig at me in the comments section because I got a mistaken identity on Thursday night, and I blamed Ralston for a Turnbull error. And someone in the comments said, it's clear that your dislike for Ralston is shining through in this video. And I'm not even going to try and hide it in this video. I'm going to be blunt and honest about it, because I think that it's right, and I think that it's obvious. Ralston is not good enough. He's not a Celtic starting 11 player. Simple. Montgomery, maybe one day. He's not right now. I want to see Scales come into the team. Montgomery was someone who was quietly impressing me, and I thought getting better, but he's simply not good enough to play, I think, at left back for Celtic right now. Could be, but we're losing so much quality, I think, and especially when asking him to play these inverted wing-back roles, which is a completely different video in itself, I think. And the third thing that I think we learned from today is we need to learn how to defend a fucking set piece. Pardon the French. I've been doing well to hide the French. I've been keeping it in a low as much as I can in videos recently, but holy Christ. What is it? What do we do in the training ground? Corner kick. We've conceded from 6 goals this season, 5 of them from crosses. We can't deal with them. What is wrong with our defence? What is wrong with our set piece and cross defending? We can't do it. It's been impossible for 2-3 years now. And do you know what? You can maybe extend that actually longer than 2 or 3 years. I can't remember a time where I was comfortable with Celtic defending set pieces. This dates back to Boyata being in a team, to Denier being in a team. I feel like set-piece defending has been poor at Celtic for a long, long time. It's a deep-rooted issue that hasn't been fixed, hasn't been worked on under numerous managers, but especially over the past 12 months. We have been so bad at it. And today's another example. That was piss poor. It's one of the worst goals you're going to see Celtic concede all season. That goal. Yes, we won the game, I'm happy with that, but it's piss poor conceding a goal like that. Simple. We need to work on it. We need to sort it pronto, because we'll ship so many goals away and points this season. Simple as that. And that'll do it. That's my video. 3 points for Celtic heading into the international break. It's what we needed. Hopefully we get a favour today by Hibs, but even at that, Hibs can go and win the title at this rate. So like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.